Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Blemished. My name is Frances Cantu, and this is my channel Wife Stuff. And here on this series, I share with y'all just how blemished I am, but that we serve an unblemished God. Today's episode is going to be a story time, and I'm so excited because this is like a testimony within the testimony. Like, this is the testimony before the actual testimony happened, and this testimony is how I stopped cussing. I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, well, you were being sanctified, you were a new creation in Christ, and of course, that was probably one of the things that God sanctified you in. But no, it's really crazy, but I actually had not at this time been seeking Christ. I was not even on that journey or on that path, or so I thought. So let's rewind a few years back. I'm like 25, I'm a young buck, and there's just something that happens in your 20s, like that when you hit 25, that you just have this realization that I either need to grow up or I need to just keep living life, so to speak. And I was kind of at the point of I'm ready to grow up. In that, I was going through my separation, and I was working on my way to a divorce, and I was also living on my own for the very first time. So imagine me, I'm living on my own for the first time, no support whatsoever. It's solely my income, and I am just like living life, trying to figure things out. And mind you, this is previous salvation. Salvation was nowhere in sight, none of that. But I was on this journey of I wanted to be a better, positive person, and I was seeking like spiritual things, I guess. I was reading, my horoscope, and I was trying to be a better person. I was going to the library, I was working out, like I was seeking after something, but it wasn't God. And so along this journey, my husband and I, we're talking, we're dating, so to speak. And my husband brings, which he wasn't my husband then, we're going to say boyfriend for the sake of the video. But my boyfriend at that time was on that same kind of journey. Well, he brings to my attention that this little thing that he had heard, because at that time we were kind of listening to sermons or inspirational things, I guess. They weren't actual quote unquote sermons. Well, he heard this thing one day about how cussing is ignorant. Like, it makes you sound really ignorant and unintelligent, and there are better words, and you need to expand your vocabulary. If you have to cuss, that means, you're not very intelligent. Well, me being the prideful person that I was, I didn't want to hear that, and neither did he. And we set out on this journey that we were going to stop cussing. Now, here's the thing that you need to know about me. I was a diehard, I'm gonna drink beer. I'm gonna be this rough and tough lady. I am gonna be like, I've always had this like tomboy essence about me. I have this very weird humor. I can come off kind of quote unquote guyish or boyish. And so like, I was just wrestling with myself, honestly, like, do I really want to stop cussing? Because I literally told him at one point, like, I'm never going to stop drinking. I'm never going to stop cussing. Like, you can't get me to, fit into this mold. And lo and behold, I actually did. So the way that I stopped cussing, or, quit cussing, I guess, was essentially the prompt from my boyfriend, and it started from there. And then we decided to challenge one another, because we felt like there has to be a repercussion or a consequence for cussing. So, a lot of people will put money in a bank or something like that, and they have to give. Well, we thought pain would be the best option. And so it didn't matter where we were at. It didn't matter what we were doing. We could have been in the middle of the store. We could have been, going down the street, maybe we had to stop the car or whatever it was. But if we cursed or said a curse word, depending on the level of the word, we would have to do physical work. And so by physical work, I mean a physical exercise. So we would do jumping jacks or squats or push-ups. Now, y'all, when I tell you that there was a day or two that I probably did 100, I'm no joking, 100 things of like exercise. I'm not even kidding. I was in so much pain, and I never realized how bad my mouth really was until I put it to the test and until I started doing physical activity in order to quit cussing. We would just do this. And so we even included our kids, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second, but we would have our kids let us know too, because, being around cursing at all times, you don't necessarily hear yourself do it. And so our kids would catch us, and sometimes they would be like, oh, you said a bad word. And they would be like, drop down, and do the exercise. And so we would do it like in increments. It would not only just be that, but it would be like, it wouldn't just be one. It would be like, you have to do 10, or, we would up the ante the closer we got to stopping cussing, because we wanted it to be completely gone. So we would get to like 20 squats or, whatever. And like I said, we would just up the ante in order to quit. Well, one of the things that we had talked about also, and the reason that we decided to stop cussing, was we were kind of just discussing how we don't allow our kids to do it, and why should we be able to do it just because we're adults, and what example are we really setting for them, and how hypocritical they must think we are that we're sitting here telling them, hey, you can't do this, but mommy and daddy can. And so we really just stewed on that and thought about that, and we realized that just because we are quote unquote adults, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't mind our mouth, and that we shouldn't be cautious of what we're saying and how we're saying it. And so again, we wanted our kids to have those same values and stuff like that. Of course, we included them in that, and we said, you know what, y'all hold us accountable as well. I just want to say too, I think the crazier thing is I wasn't saved. My husband wasn't saved at that time. We weren't, like I said, even seeking God. We didn't even have God on our radar as far as like wanting to know him and, be closer to him. And it's just crazy to me that God already started a process and already started us on our journey before we even knew we were on our journey. And I'm just like, again, in awe of God. And so that's why I wanted to share this story, because sometimes God is working in your life before you even realize that he's working. But then when you look back on your life and you go, oh my goodness, God was there, God was here, God was in that spot right there. And I'm just telling y'all this to give you encouragement. Maybe there's something that you are needing to give up, or, maybe it is your mouth. Maybe it is, because cussing isn't just the only thing that we need to be mindful of. It's the words that we speak to one another. It's how we speak to one another. You can quote unquote cuss somebody out without using actual words. You can be hateful and disrespectful to somebody with your mouth, and that can be just as destructive as calling, cussing somebody out, or, calling them a name. And I just want to encourage you that if that is something that maybe you struggle with, maybe this is something that could help. It definitely was something that helped me and my husband. And like I said, you just up the ante and you just give it, now we know, give it to God and let him take care of it. But sometimes we need that extra push. Sometimes we need that extra motivation in order to like leap through that hoop. And so maybe that's something that would help. Maybe just doing squats or, push-ups, or, pushing yourself in some type of way that's a punishment, something that's not fun, something that brings attention to the thing that is hindering you. All right, y'all. Well, that is going to be it for today's video. Like I said, it's just going to be a quick story time, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, share it with somebody, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much. God bless y'all, and go and be a light out there. Hey y'all, if you enjoyed today's video and don't want to miss out on content like this, then please click over here to subscribe to my channel. Or if you want to watch more videos like this, then you can click right here.